Making this video is about me coming into knowledge of God's truth. I'm trying to put Yah first and foremost, and I am interested. I'm trying to get myself right with the Most High. Trying to love on Him first and foremost. Trying to really love on the Most High, put Him first and foremost. I'm trying to put the Most High first and foremost. I'm really trying to find out what's most pleasing of all to the Most High. And I'm realizing now in my life, I'm realizing now, I think for the very first time ever in my life, the real importance of having a true and lasting relationship with the Most High. Unless you have a real and true and lasting relationship with the Most High, you can't really be happy. Money and the things of this world and this life just can't make you happy. And I've experienced it. I didn't have to be rich. I can imagine, I just imagine what that would be like to be rich and have all those things. And I imagine that when I would imagine I was rich and everything, the more money I would have, the more miserable I became. The more miserable I became, the more money I would have. In my imagination, you could say in my dream, but that was not the dream because I was awake. In my imagination, the more money I would have, the more of everything I would have, the more miserable I would become. So, what I'm trying to say is, the more miserable you become, the more riches. I'm finally learning for the first time ever in my life that unless you have a real and true and lasting relationship with the Most High, there's no real way that you can be happy. But then I imagine having a relationship with y'all, and I also imagine that I was very, very poor. And I seemed to be a lot more happier the more poor I was. Because when I imagined myself rich, I had no relationship with y'all. When I imagined myself to be very rich and just have it all, as they say, everything you could want. And that was the happiest thing. I wish I never had those things. Because they just don't make you happy. And one day I was speaking to my uncle over the phone. He said, "You can win big money and I'll be happy." Well, my uncle might not have known that, but heck, I knew this before my uncle even told me. I mean, I don't mean to come off as arrogant or nothing. I don't mean to gloat or come off as arrogant. But it's like, I knew long before my uncle told me that the big money, having all the things you want in life can make you happy. And when I imagine I had all the things that I could ever want, it's like I wish I never had those things. Okay? But then I imagine myself, like when I imagine myself rich, I imagine myself rich and having everything you can possibly want. There was nothing you would want because you had that all. There's nothing you wanted. You have it all, so there's nothing you want. Everything you could possibly want, no more. So much more. And I imagine myself that way. But also, that's all I imagined. And I imagined that I didn't have a relationship with the Most High. Just, I had everything you would want and more. And it's like, I wish I never had those things. And I was so unhappy and wish I never really had none of those things. Then I imagined myself poor. But then I imagined that I had a real and true and lasting relationship with the Most High. And the more poor I was, the more happy I was. And so now I know it's not about having the money and having everything you want and being so rich that you don't even know what you got. You're so rich. Having everything you want is so much more than all that. And still not being happy, wishing that you didn't have all those things. Why? Because now we realize it's not those things, it's a relationship with God that makes you happy, not having all kinds of money and everything you want. You can have it and wish you didn't have it. You could have all of those things and wish you just never really did have those things. Why? Because it's not those things that make you happy. It's a relationship with y'all. And look at how many people are rich and have all that stuff. And they're not happy. They wish they didn't have none of that stuff. Some of them are so unhappy they've even killed themselves, committed suicide. As the Japanese would say, they committed harikari. Harikari means suicide in Japanese. If you ever wonder what committing harikari means, harikari means in Japanese suicide. That's when someone commits suicide or kills themselves, the act of committing suicide. The Japanese call harikari. They call suicide. Suicide in Japanese is called harikari. And so a lot of those rich people, there's a lot of rich people that killed themselves, committed suicide. Or as the Japanese would say, they committed harikari. And so, but then I imagined myself to be poor, and the more poor I was, the more happy I was. Why? Because I imagine having a relationship with God. Now I know the true importance of having a true and lasting relationship with the Most High. I now know having a true and lasting relationship with the Most High. Pardon me. That's what makes you happy. Having a true and lasting relationship with the Most High. I imagine in my second imagination, I was poor and the more poor I was, the more happy I was. Why? Because although I was poor and didn't have anything I wanted, I was even happier not having the things I wanted, because then I had the relationship with the Most High. The Most High, YAHOOA, the Creator of me and my life. Some call it God, or Jesus, however you call it, Jesus, God, YAHOOA, Raha Kadesh, Yeshua HaMashiach, that's who the real Son of Yah is. But anyways, what I'd like to say is I even pray to the Most High. Now I know the importance of having a relationship with you. I've heard that couples that have divorced one another, they divorce one another, and their complaint was, well, I see too much in him, or I see too much in her. I've been with her too long, or I've been with him too long. Well, you've probably been with them, too long, but did you ever really have a true relationship with the Most High? Because had you had the relationship with the Most High, you'd probably still be together with your mate, because you say you're too much with him or you're too much with her, and so I say you need, if you feel they need to get away from it all, your first relationship should be to the Most High. Your first relationship should be to the Most High. You should love the Most High first and foremost, more than you love your own husband or own wife, more than you love your own kids. Because if you can't love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, you won't be able to love your wife or your husband or your kids the way they ought to be loved. If you don't love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, you won't be able to love your wife the way she needs to be loved. You won't be able to love your husband the way he ought to be loved. You won't be able to love your kids the way they need to be loved, the way they ought to be loved. You won't be able to do that. And I've said many times to pray to the Most High that I would love to have my own wife, my own two biological sons, my two biological daughters. I would like to have a wife of my own. I would love her dearly, and I would love to have my own two biological sons and two biological daughters of mine. I've said this in past videos I made, how I would love to have my own wife, and the truth is, I really would love to have my own wife, and I'd love to have my own 2 biological sons and 2 biological daughters. But then I realize now, if I don't love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, I'm not going to be able to love the way she should be loved. I won't be able to love the kids the way they need to be loved, the way they ought to be loved. But if I can love the Most High the way He'd like to be loved, then I would be able to love the wife the way she ought to be loved. I would be able to love the biological sons and daughters just the way they ought to be loved. I would be able to love them, and that means I would have to love the Most High more than I love the wife and biological sons and daughters. And I would teach the biological sons and daughters that they're to love the Most High more. They're there to love the Most High, yeah. They're to love the Most High, yeah, more than they're to love me, and I would teach them, you make sure you love the Most High more than you love me. You make sure. I may be their husband and father. I may be. I might be their husband and father. I may be their husband and father, but I would teach them, you're to love the Most High so much more than me. I would love the Most High more than I love the wife and biological sons and daughters. But if you can't even love, if you can't even love the Most High more than you love your wife and children or husband and children, you won't even be able to love your wife or your husband or your children the way they ought to be loved. You won't be able to do that if you don't first love the Most High more than you love them. So you have to have the Most High first and foremost. You have to love the Most High more than you love yourself. You have to love the Most High more than you love your wife and kids, more than you love your own husband and kids. You have to love on the Most High. You have to love on the Most High more than you even love your own wife and your own kids. You have to love the Most High first and foremost. You have to love. The reason why is, if you can't even love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, you won't even be able to love your wife and kids the way they ought to be loved. So the thing is, I love the Most High so much more than if I had the wife and kids, which I don't write that this time, but I would like to have my own wife and my own 2 biological sons and my own 2 biological daughters. I would like to have my own wife and my own 2 biological sons and my own 2 biological daughters. I would like to have them. But if you can't even love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, if you don't love Him more than, say, the wife and kids, or the husband and kids, whatever is the case, If you don't love the Most High so much more than you love your own wife and kids, if you don't love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, you won't even be able to love your wife and kids or your husband and kids the way they ought to be loved. And so I'm learning this. I'm learning that you must love the Most High more than your own wife and kids, more than your own husband and kids. You must have the Most High first and foremost and love Him the most in life. And so I'm learning this lesson. And so I hope I'm loving the Most High the way He wants to be loved and pleasing Him as He likes to be pleased. And I'm hoping that one day, real soon, very, very soon, I'm hoping to meet the girl of my dreams, marry her. And I'm hoping that she'll be my wife. And we're going to have 2 biological sons along with 2 biological daughters together. And as it says in Ephesians, husbands, love your wives. I intend to love my wife and train this child the way they should go. I intend to do that. And fathers, love your children. I intend to do that. So I'm hoping that the Most High will bless me with a wife, the wife of my dreams, the girl of my dreams, the wife of my dreams. And 2 biological sons of my dreams, along with 2 biological daughters of my dreams. And so I'm finally learning this lesson. And so I'm hoping that the Most High, He's gonna bless me with the girl of my dreams and the wife of my dreams. The 2 biological sons of my dreams, the 2 biological daughters of my dreams, just as I have always prayed for them. But the truth is, I must keep the Most High first, I know, and I love the Most High more than anything. Love them a lot more. Love the Most High more than the wife, more than the biological sons and daughters. Love the Most High so much more than they. To love on the Most High. And I'm learning this lesson. I'm learning this lesson how it's important to love the Most High, but I'm praying that the Most High, I'm praying that I'm gonna love the Most High as He would love to be loved, and I will love Him the most and please Him the most. But I'm also hoping and praying that the Most High will bless me with the girl of my dreams to be the wife of my dreams, and that together we'll have 2 biological sons of our dreams and 2 biological daughters of our dreams, just as I have always prayed for them in the past. In the meantime, I know I got to work on loving the Most High a lot more than loving them. But the only way I can love them is I have to love the Most High more than I love them. I have to love the Most High so much more than I love them. But then I would love them just as Ephesians says, husbands, love your wives. Fathers, love your children. Do not provoke them to wrath. And now I know those starts that you have to love the Most High the way He wants to be loved. Or if you don't love the Most High the way He wants to be loved, and you don't love Him more than you love the wife and kids or husband and kids, if you don't love the Most High more than you can't even love the kids. You can't even love the wife or the husband and kids the way they ought to be loved. And I'd like to end this video by saying, God bless.